The foil from the graduation card wrapper made a soft, papery crinkle as I folded it back into the envelope. No one had signed it, just the pre-printed line, "You did it," in thick, raised gold. I stared at that exclamation point longer than I probably should have. The card was from my mom, or at least she'd mailed it. The return address had her name. But the handwriting on the envelope was the same neat, impersonal cursive from her secretary. And the fact that it had come 2 days late, after the ceremony, felt like its own kind of punctuation. There was no check, no note, not even a line of "sorry we missed it," just glitter confetti inside, like the kind you can buy in bulk at Party City. I remember shaking some out into my palm like I was looking for a message. I don't know what I expected. Morse code in plastic stars? That was the moment it hit me. They really weren't coming. Not, they got stuck in traffic. Not, ran late and missed the walk. Not even, emergency came up. Just not coming. Not my mom, not my stepdad, not my half-sister or cousins. No car pulling up with crepe paper signs, no balloons, no family photo on the stadium steps. But on Facebook? Oh, on Facebook. They were very much in attendance, just not at my graduation. They were at Amber's baby shower. Amber, my cousin, who got knocked up in February by a guy who called himself DJ Reconstruct and once tried to sell me a vape that smelled like God's intentions. That Amber. She got a custom cake. I got a last-minute card with nothing inside. And yes, I checked. The post was time-stamped. 10 minutes after my name was called. Right when I was shaking the dean's hand, squinting against the sun and trying not to trip in my rental gown, they were tagging themselves in front of a tower of pastel cupcakes. I didn't cry that day. Not at the stadium. Not in the Uber back. Not even when I hung the robe in my closet and saw the price tag still attached. But the next morning, when I opened Facebook and saw the post, "So proud of our little mama-to-be. Baby shower success had family first." That's when I stared at the screen so long my vision blurred. I guess I should back up. My name's Drew, 24. First in my family to graduate college. I put myself through community college and then transferred to a state university on a scholarship. Worked nights at a warehouse loading trucks. Spent holidays alone on campus because flights were too expensive. Ate more canned soup than any man should. And I did it. I really, really did it. Bachelor's in mechanical engineering, cum laude, no student debt. I'd told them the date months in advance, sent out the formal invite in April, texted the details the week before, just to be safe. I even offered to help with gas if that was an issue. But my mom said, "Don't worry, we wouldn't miss it for the world." Turns out she would. She missed it for, a mimosa fountain and a baby is brewing tea bar. I didn't confront her right away. I just waited. That week I went back to work. Shifts started at 6 p.m. No one there cared that I'd graduated. No one even knew. I didn't bring it up. Friday night, I got a call from my friend Nate. "Bro, you see Facebook?" My chest tightened. "Yeah," I said. "They rented a whole gazebo for Amber." "Jesus, did you know she's naming the baby Calix?" "No," I said. "I didn't." There was a pause. "You okay, man?" I lied. "Yeah, just tired." The call with my mom finally happened the next Sunday. It wasn't planned. She FaceTimed me like nothing had happened, like we were still on the same page. "Hi, honey. Just wanted to see your face." I stared at the screen. She was wearing a pink cardigan, the same one from the baby shower photo. "You missed it," I said. She blinked. "What?" "My graduation." She made a face like she was surprised. "Oh, Drew, I thought it was next week." "No, I said. "It was Saturday." She covered her mouth with her hand. "Oh, no. Oh, sweetie, I feel awful." Then, and I swear,
I'm not making this up, she said. It's just that Amber's shower was that weekend, and you know how fragile she's been lately. Her hormones are all over the place, and she really needed us there. She's family. I'm family too. Her smile faltered. Well, of course you are. Don't be dramatic. That word, dramatic, lit something in me I didn't know I had. All these years I'd kept it in check. Played nice. Bit my tongue at Thanksgiving. Let my sister brag about her TikTok followers while I cleared the dishes. But this time, something cracked. I worked 3 jobs to get through school, I said. I skipped birthdays. I missed funerals. I studied in break rooms while people unloaded pallets next to me. I graduated with honors, and you skipped it. There was silence. Then she sighed. Not sad, not guilty, just tired. You always make everything about you. Click. She ended the call. The part that messed with me wasn't just that they didn't show up. It's that they performed like they did, just somewhere else. Amber's baby shower got 37 comments. All the aunts, uncles, distant cousins. So cute. Such a blessing. Love you guys. It felt like a digital family reunion I wasn't invited to. No one mentioned my name. No congrats to Drew too. Nothing. So I tried an experiment. I posted a graduation photo. Just one. Me in the gown, holding the diploma. Caption, 4 years, 3 jobs, 1 degree. Worth it. Guess how many likes? 12. 3 of them were people from high school I hadn't talked to in years. None from my mom, or my stepdad, or anyone who shares my blood. A few days later, I got a message from my Aunt Kathy. It said, "Not everything is about you. Drew, Amber's having a baby. That's a real accomplishment." That one stuck. A real accomplishment. Like mine was fake, or lesser, or selfish. Like building a life on your own, one late shift at a time, was somehow less than getting knocked up by a DJ and throwing a party for it. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I haven't spoken to anyone in the family. They haven't reached out either. Not to ask how the job search is going. Not to see if I made it home safe. Not even to pretend. But yesterday, something happened. I got a call from my cousin Derek. One of the few who wasn't at the shower. "You sitting down?" he asked. "Why?" "They're planning a surprise family dinner." "For Amber?" He laughed, but it wasn't funny. "No, for you." My stomach flipped. They want to make it up to you. Rent a restaurant, invite everyone. You know, celebrate your achievement. I didn't say anything. "You going?" Derek asked. I didn't answer. Because honestly, I still don't know. This story isn't finished yet. Continuing in the next part, I didn't answer Derek right away. He waited on the line while I sat there, staring at the apartment wall across from my couch. The one with the thumbtack holes from where I'd taken down the little vision board I made freshman year. It still had faint outlines where tape had peeled the paint. I used to keep photos of Caltech, a Honda Civic Type R, and a printed quote that said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." "Drew?" Derek's voice came through the phone, soft, like he knew better than to push. "Yeah," I finally said. "Still here." "So?" he asked. "What do you want me to tell them?" I rubbed the back of my neck. My diploma was still sitting on the kitchen counter in its fake leather folder, unopened. I hadn't found the right place to hang it yet. It didn't feel like anyone would ever see it but me. "Tell them I'll think about it," I said. "That's all I can do right now." "Okay," Derek said. "Fair." Before he hung up, he added, "For what it's worth, man, I think what you did means more than they're willing to admit." I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "Thanks." But even after we hung up, I couldn't get that sentence out of my head. They're planning a surprise dinner. Surprise?
like I hadn't noticed the original silence. I went to work that night, still chewing on it. I load trucks for a logistics company. Temp gig, warehouse graveyard shift. Mostly quiet except for the hum of conveyor belts and the slap of pallets hitting the floor. It's meditative, in a brutalist kind of way. You think about everything and nothing at once. It was slow that night. Even Marco, who usually won't shut up about his side hustle flipping sneakers, kept his headphones in. I liked Marco. He was 20, loud, and cocky in a way I used to be before life chipped it out of me. I was halfway through breaking down a stack of packaging when I felt my phone buzz in my back pocket. Unknown number. I usually wouldn't answer during work, but something made me pause. I wiped my hands on my jeans and stepped out into the loading dock, where the hum faded into the distance and all you could hear was the buzz of a single floodlight. Hello? Drew? It was my mother. The last time we spoke, really spoke, was the FaceTime she ended after calling me dramatic. Hearing her voice now, so carefully upbeat, felt like someone pressing play on a voicemail you didn't ask for. I heard from Derek that you might be coming to the dinner. I'm so glad, she said, without confirming if I actually was. I said I'd think about it, I said. There was a pause. I heard her breathe in like she was bracing herself. Well, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you, sweetie. Really, we're all proud. It's just been a hectic couple of months with Amber's pregnancy and... You already said that, I cut in. You missed it. I was there, alone. You weren't. She didn't respond right away. I could almost hear her choosing which version of the truth to use. I didn't realize how much this meant to you, she finally said. That one hit wrong. This? You mean graduating college? The thing I've been working toward for the last 6 years? She tried to soften her tone. I meant the ceremony. No, I said. You meant what you said. You just didn't think it was a big deal because it didn't involve pastel balloons and a cupcake tower. Her voice dropped. Drew, that's not fair. No, I said again. What's not fair is me cheering for everyone else's milestones and not getting a fraction of it back. Not even a seat in the bleachers. She sighed. I'm trying, Drew. I really am. I don't want you to try now, I said. Not for a Facebook photo. Not because Derek guilted you into it. More silence. Then her voice, quiet and clipped. Are you coming or not? I looked out at the warehouse parking lot, at the way the wind lifted a plastic bag across the asphalt like a ghost. I haven't decided, I said, and hung up. That night, after my shift, I stopped by the only place open near my apartment, a 24-hour diner with cracked booths and an industrial coffee smell that somehow never leaves your clothes. I slid into the corner seat with a notebook, a cup of coffee, and a pack of pens. It was something I used to do before exams, go somewhere with noise that wasn't personal, noise that didn't remind me of who didn't show up. I opened the notebook and started making 2 columns. Reasons to go. Closure. Derek will be there. Might finally get to say what I need to say. Free food, reasons not to go. It's performative. They're not sorry. They're embarrassed. They'll post it on Facebook, like they cared all along. I'll feel worse after. Somewhere between the second refill of coffee and the third time Tiny Dancer played overhead, I stopped writing. Because I realized something. This wasn't about whether I showed up. It was about whether they showed up before it cost them social currency not to. The invitation came in the next morning. It was a group text. Me, my mom, stepdad, my Aunt Kathy, my cousin Brandon, and about 8 others. It had a Bitmoji of a graduation cap and a "We love you, Drew" message. Then the details. Dinner at Giovanni's Trattoria, next Saturday, 6 p.m. sharp. Business casual. Private room. To celebrate our brilliant boy. I stared at it for a solid minute. No one had texted me directly, just tagged me in the group thread like I was a background character in my own milestone. And beneath it, I watched the bubbles appear. Amber. Yay! We can finally post your pics too. Kathy. I'll bring a balloon arch. Brandon. Drew, what are you wearing, bro? Gotta match the vibe, lol. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my phone gallery, scrolled past the photo I'd posted, opened the one I hadn't shared, the one where I was alone on the bleachers after the ceremony, mortarboard off, gown half unzipped, eating a Cliff Bar while people around me hugged their parents. I zoomed in on my own face. Not sad, just tired, flat, and I thought, this is the real picture. Not the one they want to take next Saturday. Not the one that gets 46 likes with the caption, "He made us proud." Not the one they'll use to smooth over the silence. Derek texted me later that night. Still thinking about it? I typed back, yeah, then deleted it, then typed again. What do you think they'd do if I said no? His reply came fast. They'd post a throwback photo and pretend you were there. I stared at the screen for a long time, because I already knew he was right. I didn't RSVP. I didn't text back. I didn't answer Derek's last call. But I went. I shaved, ironed a button up, and pulled on the one pair of slacks I hadn't worn since career fair week. No one had seen me in anything but jeans and safety toe boots for the past year. Felt like putting on armor. The night of the dinner, I got there early. Parked at the far end of the Giovanni's lot, where the cracked pavement made your shoes tilt funny when you walked. I sat in the car for a bit with the engine off, letting the heat build. No music. Just my thoughts pressing in on the windshield like fog. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about forgiveness either. It was about seeing what they looked like when they had to face me in a room they couldn't crop or caption. Giovanni's trattoria wasn't fancy, but it tried hard. Faux candles on every table. Waiters in black aprons and too much cologne. The private room was in the back, through a narrow hallway with framed posters of Italian beaches that probably hadn't been updated since the early 2000s. The hostess led me in. I was the first one there. "Table's all yours," she said with a smile, laying down a laminated prefix menu. "Big night." I just nodded. "Supposedly." She left. I sat. Room for 12. Long table, white cloth, folded napkins like tiny red pyramids. Someone had placed a plastic "Congrats Grad" centerpiece on the table. Glitter letters wobbling slightly in the AC draft. I looked at the seat across from me and imagined my mom sitting there, all dressed up, practicing the face she thought forgiveness looked like. At 6:15, they started trickling in. Amber was first. Big smile. Both hands cradling her belly like she was afraid someone might forget she was pregnant in the 20 feet between the car and the chair. "Oh my God, look at you," she squealed, arms wide. "College boy." She leaned in to hug me before I could sidestep. Her perfume hit hard. Something sugary. Vanilla overkill. "Congrats, cuz," she said, sitting down and immediately launching into an anecdote about how her baby had kicked while she was watching a TikTok about crystals. I nodded, sipped water. She didn't notice I hadn't said a word. My mom arrived a few minutes later. She looked rehearsed. Hair freshly blown out, cream blouse, the necklace I bought her 5 Christmases ago, the one she once called "too dainty" and kept in a drawer. "Drew," she said softly, like my name was something fragile. "You look wonderful." I stood up, not to hug her, just to avoid the awkwardness of sitting while she approached. "Thanks." She moved like she was going to kiss my cheek, then thought better of it, settled for fixing my collar instead. I didn't flinch, but I didn't help either. The rest filed in. Stepdad Jim, Aunt Kathy, Brandon, a couple cousins I hadn't seen since my uncle's wake 3 years ago. They were loud, joking, toasting breadsticks like champagne, saying things like big man on campus and we knew you had it in you, with the confidence of people who hadn't sent a single text that day. I watched it like a movie I wasn't in, until the waiter came. He was young, probably college age himself, looked at me, then the centerpiece, then back to me. "You the man of the hour?" I nodded. He grinned. "Right on. Congrats." It was the only authentic thing anyone said all night. They started with salads. Conversation turned to Amber's upcoming gender reveal. We're thinking smoke cannons. And Brandon's crypto losses. No one asked what I was doing next. No one asked how commencement felt. No one asked if I was okay. Halfway through the main course, some overcooked penne with what tasted like regret, my mom cleared her throat. "Drew," she said, holding up her glass, "I just want to say, we're all so proud of you. I know it wasn't always easy, but you stuck it out, and we're so glad to celebrate you tonight." Everyone clinked their glasses. I did not raise mine. She smiled at me like she was waiting for her Oscar. Then Aunt Kathy piped up. "We were just saying, we need a photo before dessert for Facebook." And there it was, the real reason they'd all shown up. I stood, pushed my chair back gently. The room quieted. "I'm glad you all made time for this," I said. "Really?" Someone, maybe Jim, muttered, "We wouldn't miss it." I looked right at him. "You already did." No one moved. "You weren't there when I crossed the stage. You weren't there when I walked back to the empty dorm. You weren't there when I posted that photo and waited 2 days to hear from anyone." Silence. I turned to my mom. "You said I always make things about me, but this wasn't about me. It was about what it would look like if you didn't do something afterward. This dinner, this is cleanup." She blinked, but didn't argue. "And I'm tired," I said. "I'm tired of showing up for people who only show up for photos. I'm not going to be your redemption arc." I pulled the diploma folder from my messenger bag, set it on the table. "You wanted something to pose with? There it is." Then I walked out. Outside, the night air was thick, summer clinging to the pavement. I stood by my car, hands shaking, not from nerves, from release. I'd carried that weight for 6 years, not just the academic grind, but the weight of invisibility, of being the afterthought, the background character in everyone else's spotlight. And I was done. Derek called me the next morning. "Dude, that was... wow." "Sorry if I made it awkward," I said. "No," he said. "They needed to hear it. Someone had to say it." He paused. "They still posted a picture." "Of what?" "The diploma, alone on the table." I laughed, dry but honest. "Of course they did." Later that week, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, I was the waiter at Giovanni's. Just wanted to say, you handled that like a champ. Not a lot of people say what needs saying. Respect." I didn't reply. Just saved the message under the name Realist One. I started a new notebook that night. Wrote on the first page, "You are what you tolerate, and I'm done tolerating silence." The next Monday, I deleted Facebook. Not deactivated, deleted. I stared at the "Are you sure?" pop-up like it was asking something deeper. Like maybe it was really saying, "Are you sure you want to stop trying to be visible to people who only see what they want to see?" Yeah, I was sure. The first few days after the dinner, there was radio silence from my family, like they were hoping time would soften it, make it blow over. Maybe they thought I'd regret what I said, that I'd call and say, "Sorry, I overreacted." I didn't. Instead, I bought a cheap frame for my diploma and hung it above the desk in my apartment. I picked a spot where the sun hits it mid-morning. Not for show, just because I liked the way the light made the seal shimmer. And then I applied for a job. Actually, about 40. engineering firms, infrastructure startups. A few long shots I never would have sent applications to a year ago. One morning, I was halfway through a cover letter when Derek texted, "Call me. You're not going to believe this." He picked up before the first ring finished. "Bro," he said, breathless, "they're doing damage control." "Who is?" "Your mom, Amber, Kathy, all of them. I guess someone called them out in the comments." I blinked. "What comments?" "You really did delete Facebook, huh?" "Yep." Derek paused. "Well, there's a thread under that photo they posted. The one with your diploma sitting alone on the table." I sat back. "What are people saying?" "Aunt Lori said it felt performative, that maybe they should have gone to the actual graduation instead of staging a dinner. Someone else, I think one of your old teachers, posted, 'It's never too late to show up, but it's not the same thing as being there when it counts.'" I let that sink in. "And the wild part," Derek added, "they started arguing back." "Arguing?" "Yeah. Kathy said it's unfair to judge family dynamics from one photo. Amber said you made a scene and ruined what was supposed to be a happy night. And your mom, dude, she wrote a whole paragraph." "What did it say?" "She said," and I quote, "My son is very sensitive, and sometimes his pride gets in the way of grace. We love him, but we won't be shamed for having complicated priorities." I didn't know whether to laugh or throw my phone. "Complicated priorities, I repeated. "Yeah," Derek sighed. "I'm not trying to stir it up, he said, "but I figured you'd rather hear it from me." "Thanks, Bim," I said. "Really." That night, I took a walk. It was humid, with the kind of stickiness that makes your shirt cling. Streetlights buzzed above me. A neighbor's sprinklers misted the edge of the sidewalk. I passed the corner bodega, where the same guy always reads the racing forums like they're scripture. I wasn't thinking about the Facebook comments, or the dinner, or my mom. I was thinking about how I'd spent so many years trying to earn something I thought was owed to everyone else by default. Basic presence, recognition, a seat at the table that didn't have to be begged for. I stopped in front of an old laundromat. The glass was foggy, but I could see a dad inside helping his little girl fold a pile of pink pajamas. She was laughing, trying to match socks. He wasn't looking at his phone, wasn't distracted. He was just there. And it hit me. I wasn't angry because I didn't get a dinner. I was angry because I never got that. 2 days later, I got an email. Subject: job interview invitation. Arcturus Thermal Systems Body. "Hi, Drew. We reviewed your application and would love to schedule a first-round interview. Let us know your availability this week. Best, Sophia Ramirez, Engineering Coordinator." I reread it twice. Then I called Nate. "Dude, Majin," he said, "that's the one with the NASA contracts, right?" "Yep. Let's go." I grinned. "They probably won't hire me." "Maybe, but you're finally being seen by people who matter." Later that night, I got a text from my mom. Just one sentence. "When you're ready to talk, you know where I am." I didn't reply. I didn't block her either, but I did think about it. And I wondered, if I did call her, what would I even say? Would I want her to understand? Or would I just want her to finally admit she didn't? The interview with Arcturus was over Zoom. I wore the same shirt I'd worn to the dinner. This time I actually buttoned it all the way. Sophia was polite, sharp-eyed, and asked questions that made me feel like the work I'd done, even the side projects and odd jobs, actually meant something. "Tell me about a time you built something out of nothing," she said. I told her about the senior design project, how I pulled it off with recycled parts and 3 teammates who barely showed up, how I learned to rewire old printers to harvest thermal sensors, how I stayed late in the campus machine shop when the AC was off and the floor smelled like oil. I didn't mention my family once. When we ended the call, she smiled. "We'll be in touch soon." For the first time in a while, I believed someone when they said that. That weekend, I drove out to the beach alone. I hadn't been there since I was a kid. Back then, my mom used to pack soggy sandwiches and oversized towels. She'd complain about the sand getting in everything, but she always made it sound like a sacrifice, like she was giving us something rare and hard-earned. Now, I realized she just didn't know how to be with us unless it was for show, unless there was a script. I sat on the sand until sunset, let the cold from the water creep into my jeans, watched strangers laugh and chase dogs and dip their toes like it was nothing. And I thought, this is what presence looks like when it doesn't have to be earned. It was the middle of the following week when I finally opened the voicemail. I'd let it sit for 3 days, a notification bubble staring up at me like a dare. One new message, it said, as if the contents wouldn't tilt the earth. It was my mom. "Hi, honey. It's me." Beat. "I don't want to fight. I know things have been tense, but I was hoping we could sit down. Just us. No photos. No dinner tables. Just talk. You pick the place." Silence. "I Miss you. Call me when you're ready." I didn't delete it, but I didn't call either. The offer letter from Arcturus arrived 2 days later. Full-time, junior thermal systems engineer, relocation assistance, decent starting salary, benefits that didn't feel like an afterthought. Start date, 4 weeks out. I stood in my kitchen staring at the screen barefoot, holding a spoon over a bowl of cereal I'd let go soggy while refreshing my inbox for the 5th time that morning. I hadn't told anyone I got the job. Not even Derek. Not yet. I wanted it to be mine first, before it became something to frame for others, before it was turned into a proud family moment by people who hadn't read a single line of my resume. I clicked accept. And just like that, my life bent in a different direction. The hardest part wasn't leaving my old apartment, or packing my things into 4 beat-up boxes and a duffel bag that still smelled faintly of campus laundry detergent. It was standing in front of the door to Unit 2B, staring at the dent in the wood I'd made that winter. I got locked out during finals and kicked it in frustration. That mark was mine. Proof I'd been there, that I'd lived, fought, and learned, even when no one else was watching. I snapped a photo of the door, not for Instagram, just for me. Then I locked it behind me for the last time. Derek helped me load the car. "You sure you don't want company on the drive?" "Nah," I said. "Think I need the silence." He nodded like he understood. "You know they're gonna reach out again, right?" he asked. "They already have, I said. "Mom left a voicemail." He raised an eyebrow. "You gonna respond?" I shut the trunk. "Eventually, but not until I'm sure I won't talk myself out of saying what needs to be said." Derek grinned. "You've changed." I shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe I finally stopped asking for things they were never gonna give. The drive took 6 hours. I didn't listen to music, just the road and the wind and the occasional rattle of a coffee cup in the center console. At a gas station halfway there, I pulled out my phone and opened the Facebook app one last time, just to see. They'd reposted the photo of the dinner table with my diploma. Caption this time: "Proud of our graduate, even if he doesn't always understand how deep that love goes." And beneath it, Amber's comment: "Families fight, but blood's thicker. Let's all move forward." I closed the app and reinstalled my block list. Arcturus had a modest campus outside the city. Nothing flashy. One glass building, a couple of warehouses, and a break room with a fridge that actually got cold. Already more than I'd had in college. The team was small. My manager, Leah, was direct but fair. First thing she said to me was, "We don't care where you came from, as long as you build like you mean it." That stuck. I started slow, shadowing, troubleshooting diagrams, working late not because I had to, but because I wanted to. There was a whiteboard in the lab. Everyone could write whatever quote or phrase they wanted at the start of the week. Second Monday, I erased what was there and wrote, "Show up before the camera's on." No one asked what it meant, but someone underlined it. 3 weeks in, I called my mom. She picked up on the second ring. "Drew?" "I have 10 minutes, I said. A pause. "Okay." I stepped outside the lab, onto the little balcony that overlooked the parking lot and the faint outline of the freeway. "You said you wanted to talk. So talk." She hesitated. I wanted to say I'm sorry." "For what?" Another pause. Longer. "For not being there when it counted." I didn't respond. She went on. "I think I've spent so long trying to manage appearances that I forgot how to show up when it's quiet. When there's no party, no post." "That's the only time it matters, son," I said. "I know," she whispered. "I'm learning." I nodded, though she couldn't see it. "I hope you do," I said. "Because I'm not chasing you anymore." Silence. Then she asked, "Can we start over?" I looked out at the highway. Maybe, but not from the same place. The next weekend, I got a card in the mail. No glitter, no confetti, just a simple note, handwritten. I watched the graduation video, found it on the school's site. "You look steady, sure. I'm sorry I wasn't there to clap, but I'm clapping now. Mom." I read it twice, then I slipped it into my desk drawer, next to the offer letter, behind my new employee badge. Not because I'd forgiven everything, but because sometimes acknowledgement doesn't need to fix what's broken. It just needs to be real. I keep the graduation photo on my desk now, the one I never posted, the one where I'm alone on the bleachers, Cliff Bar in hand, sunburn on my neck. It's not sad. It's proof that I finished, that I showed up, that I mattered, even when no one else showed up to see it. And now, finally, I do it for me. If this story moved you, subscribe for more real-life confessions and emotional journeys like this one.